Colleagues, I welcome you to today's sitting.
On Wednesday, 9th April 2025, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Taebwa, dismissed allegations that members of Parliament received 100 million shillings for supporting the passing of the coffee bill.
May I beg you, Right Honourable Speaker, with the due respect, that the country demands an explanation from the head of this institution of what is going on in regard to the 100 million allegation that is a gift to these members of Parliament.
As the leadership of the House, we are responsible for what is budgeted and appropriated and on expenditures done by Parliament. That's number one. Number two, honorable colleagues, I will not sit here and I start legitimizing street talk. No. Because I'm a member of Parliament. Listen, I'm a member of Parliament. I have not received any coin. Neither have I received a call from anyone who has my money. Please, if you go and you have your dealings somewhere, please don't involve the House here. Because we approved the budget, we approve all expenditure of government. We never approved any item here called a donation from the President to members of Parliament. If there is any matter of that kind, what I would expect, you can write to the head of the institution that I have heard about ABCD. Okay? Please, I want you to interest yourself in the matter and investigate. And then therefore I would come to a responsible committee. We look for a way of investigating the matter.
Each and every member of Parliament who sits in this House is paid through a statutory process.
During the sitting, Kawempe North County Member of Parliament, Honorable Elias Ulimba Zinalukola, gave his maiden speech on the floor of the House.
Honorable Ministers in the sitting government, Honorable Ministers in the alternative government, Members of Parliament, I thank you. I take this opportunity to express my pleasure towards the manner I was treated by your office, Mr. Speaker, when I was sworn in expeditiously immediately after gazetting the results from Kawempe North constituency. Mr. Speaker, my name is Luyimba Zinalukola, who was voted after great violence, Mr. Speaker. My election, Mr. Speaker, was decorated by brutality from the members of armed forces. And indeed, the Electoral Commission, every time we are used to approach it, it could lament helplessly. And the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Speaker, made a request to me that when opportunity appears, we should make an amendment in the Electoral Commission Act to ensure that the Electoral Commission is in command of all constables.
In the sitting, the State Minister for Internal Affairs, General David Muhoozi, revealed that the mass renewal of national identification cards is expected to start in May this year.
We already have 16.382901 blank ID cards that will be procured at a cost of 145.25 billion. Only 24 billion is allocated, leaving a funding gap of 120.72 billion. We therefore recommend that 120.72 billion in the financial year 25-26 budget be provided to enable NIRA to complete the mass enrollment exercise before 2026 general elections.
Today I'm carrying an ID, but tomorrow mine is supposed to expire. I don't know what happens. We'll be going for nominations. This alone, somebody can deny to be nominated that your ID expired.
There are children who are registered in schools, both in primary and secondary, some time back. Up to date, they have now got their IDs. Are they going to be part of the new registration, or you are going to use the old ones, the money we first gave to register them?
We are finally about to embark on enrollment within May. Our plan is to do a pilot on some government people, starting with the ministry and NIRA maybe, and then we launch it nationally. We've tested all the things, equipment came, all the requirements that you gave us through the funding you provided are all in place.
Also in the sitting, a report of the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development revealed that it would take government 12 years to clear domestic arrears of over 13.8 trillion shillings.
According to the Auditor General, domestic arrears increased from 10.5 trillion in the financial year 2022-23 to 13.81 trillion by the end of financial year 23-24. The committee observed that the government has provided 1.12 trillion for domestic arrears for the financial year 25-26, whereas this is an improvement from the previous year, where only 200 billion was provided. Even at this rate, it will take government over 12 years to clear all the domestic arrears if no new areas are accumulated.
Who are these accounting officers that commit government to make undertakings when they clearly know that we do not have money in the coffers to pay these commitments?
Institutions, organizations, companies are actually closing. Many people are actually crying. It is worse when they borrow this money to actually supply government. And at the end of the day, government does not pay. Most of them lose their properties, Right Honorable Speaker. So there must be a deliberate effort by this parliament to actually remove wasteful expenditure and tackle the issue of domestic arrears.
We have committed that verified domestic arrears shall be planned for in 3 years, beginning next financial year. So if 2025, 2026 we are paying, we shall pay the rest in the next 2 years. So by 3 years, we should have finished. I also wish to inform you, colleagues, that domestic arrears under the former UNRA, now Ministry of Works, have substantially been provided for.
On Thursday, 10th April 2025, the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries recommended a phased increase in funding for the agro-industrialization program.
Agro-industrialization program is allocated 2.4% of the national budget in this coming financial year, from 2.9% in the approved budget of 2024-2025. Additionally, the allocation to the program is 30% less than the NDP4 projected allocation of 2.448 billion. The committee recommends that government should raise the budget for agro-industrialization program in a phased manner, because we cannot say up to 10% due to financial constraint, from the current 2.4 to at least 5% in the medium term, with a view of attaining the 10% allocation as outlined in the 2025 Kampala-Cardiff Declaration, to which Uganda is a signatory.
Strategic crops like coffee that contribute significantly are often underfunded. For example, last year, coffee brought to this country $1.1 billion. Ideally, if we were concerned with generating more resources for this country, we would have put money in coffee research, we would have put money in coffee quality assurance infrastructure.
Under the Malabo Declaration, we committed that we shall be giving agriculture at least 10% allocation of the budget. But currently, we are still at 3.37%. 2.2, actually it is even 2.4%. So, Right Honorable Speaker, how do we promise people heaven, and yet we don't actually go to places of worship? We need really to be serious, Right Honorable Speaker, and do whatever it takes to prioritize agriculture.
In the sitting, the Committee on East African Community Affairs called for the creation and deployment of a professional joint force at entry points of all partner states so as to end border conflicts.
On non-operational East African Community Protocol on Peace and Security, the committee recommends that the ministry advocates for cooperation between partner states, border agencies, through binding agreements, and also the creation of professional joint forces at entry points to all partner states. And on the roads, with joint patrols operating in the area to curb border conflicts, smuggling, and murder of traders or suspects.
There is confusion about where the border post is and the actual boundary is. For us Ugandans, we go and stop at where the tarmac stops, because we know that behind us is Uganda, in front of us is Southern Sudan. But the Sudanese want to come up to the checkpoint at Apiriti and leave behind, I think, several kilometers of tarmac road, thinking that what is behind them is Southern Sudan, and that the boundary is at the border post checkpoint. Now, I would like the committee to work hard to try to work with the authorities in charge to put some signposts indicating that you are entering Uganda or you are entering Southern Sudan.
A joint committee that was agreed upon last year in September, a committee that was meant, or that is meant, to oversee the implementation of border policies as well as the implementation of emerging issues across the borders. I did not see any follow-up action. A joint committee was supposed to have been put in place or agreed to, and that would also, Right Honourable Speaker, help in addressing some of the emerging issues that colleagues have been mentioning: border issues, cross-border issues, peace issues.
The relations between states demand that every state exercise authority over all areas within its borders. All areas. And therefore, any people coming from outside should conform to the laws of one state or the other in a particular area. Border points are not decided by communities. Border points are already designated by demarcations which are there on maps, but which are being reinforced by having concrete barriers, concrete markstones, which should show where borders are, so that any member who's not sure whether you are going through Congo or you're in Kasese, Congo, Kasese, Uganda, will know which point you belong to.
House is adjourned to Tuesday at 10 a.m.